Is your brand ready for AI? I'm not just talking about ChatGPT prompts, but the full spectrum of AI transforming retail media today. Join me for an essential 5-part series with AI strategy expert Lauren Schiavone. Over the next 3 weeks, we'll move from basic AI literacy to advanced concepts like agentic AI and the future of consumer path to purchase. Whether you're a brand, retailer, or agency, this series will give you the roadmap you need to navigate retail's AI revolution. Good morning and welcome to the Retail Media Breakfast Club. I'm your host, Kiri Masters, and every weekday at 6 a.m. Eastern, I bring you candid and real discussions in the world of retail media and marketplaces in just 10 minutes. So bring your own cup of coffee and we'll get smarter about retail media together. Welcome back to our AI in Retail Deep Dive. I'm talking again with Lauren Schiavone, who is the founder of Wonder Consulting, an innovative AI-focused consultancy dedicated to empowering leaders to thrive in an AI-driven world. With nearly 2 decades of experience as a Procter & Gamble executive, Lauren combines deep expertise in consumer insights, brand strategy, sales leadership, and enterprise transformation with cutting-edge AI knowledge. Lauren, let's get to the path to purchase evolution and how it's going to change with AI agents, AI assistants. You do a fantastic job over on LinkedIn showing real life examples from a consumer perspective, like here's what I'm seeing with AI, here are the implications for brands. There is so much to dig into with how we think it's all going to change. You and I are both super bullish on this, and maybe more bullish than some people, but I think we can convince everyone that this is real. We're about to experience a step change here. So what are the most immediate changes we're going to see to the path to purchase in your view?
The path to purchase is already evolving and it is going to continue to. So, I don't know what it's going to look like in 6 months or a year from now, but here are my best guess and how I'm starting to see it evolve, and I think it will continue to. Okay, so first, we are seeing a shift in search driven by LLMs or large language models, tools like ChatGPT. Search volume is expected to drop by 25% by 2026 as consumers shift their searching to LLMs like ChatGPT. And consumers are trusting tools like ChatGPT for product recommendations. We actually see that about 63% of consumers are actually willing to try a brand recommended by an LLM or a ChatGPT. And then finally, I think this is really interesting, we are seeing LLMs like Perplexity becoming advertising partners. They launched advertising in the fall. I don't think it's really been rolled out just yet, but they did sort of make a commitment to advertising. And also, they've become a commerce channel, which is really interesting if you think about, it's now not just a place to sort of search or get information, but also to buy product. So that's the first. The second is, I think there will be new ways to learn and discover, and we're seeing an emergence of that. So first, as you're super familiar with, and probably your listeners, is Amazon Rufus, right? Amazon shopping assistant. You can ask it anything, right? For example, ask it, what laundry detergent should I use for my baby with sensitive skin? You'll want to know, is my brand showing up or not for that? Amazon has also mentioned that they will likely roll out ads or have started to roll out ads in Rufus. But Rufus is not just sort of that little icon at the bottom, shopping assistant. I'm starting to see Rufus or components of Rufus throughout the website, embedded into search, embedded on the product detail page, and I would expect to see that more and more. Did you want to add anything? I know you obviously...
No, I just think it's helpful to look at Rufus as a harbinger of what is to come elsewhere, right? Amazon is typically, pretty far ahead of the curve, and I think we can take a lot of cues from what they're doing here.
Yes, and I think what Rufus represents, if you look at the bigger picture, is a shift from keyword-based searching to natural language-based browsing and buying. And that's a much bigger trend that brands need to think about that we probably don't have time to get into today. But Rufus on its own is not just a shopping assistant, right? It represents so much more about what's overall changing not just in the Amazon experience, but to your point, ultimately, probably the shopping experience at many retailers.
Yes, and I think you'll get into this, but Rufus is pulling data from outside of Amazon.
Yeah, yes. So we should certainly talk that as well, actually, because it relates to my next point. So let me share the point and I'll sort of close the loop there. So the next way that, is an example of how learning and discovery will change is ChatGPT's voice mode with vision. So if you are not aware and you are paying $20 a month member, in the little search bar, you'll see a little black circle with a couple white lines in it. Click on that. And then if you click on like the camera, like you're going to FaceTime someone, that will turn on the ChatGPT live voice mode with vision. This is going to blow your mind. It is going to show you the world around you. And so in the example I had on LinkedIn the other day, I had a bottle of Downy Unstoppables in my home. I just put my camera up to it and I said, what is this product and how does it work? A consumer could do the same thing in front of the shelf. And if you think about that, we are going to have to shift from a world of SEO or search engine optimization to a world of AI optimization or AIO, or some are even calling it AEO, answer engine optimization. And there's a lot of things to consider when you think about AI optimization, but I think the biggest is going to be making sure that you are truly addressing nearly all of consumer barriers starting at your brand website. Which is interesting because over the years, I think the brand website has just really become a bit of like a check the box activity. A lot of brand builders haven't put a lot of time and effort into the website, but it seems to be the number one place that not just the LLMs like ChatGPT are going to for product information, but also a tool like Rufus. And Carrie, to your point earlier, what we're seeing is that Rufus will go off-site to, for example, a brand website to get information about a product. So that the shift of not just being search engine optimized, but AI optimization is going to be important. By the way, retailers are not like, they don't get an out here because the same is going to be true. Because I could be in ChatGPT and I could say, recommend a laundry detergent, and I could say, where should I buy it? Right? So retailers are going to have to also start to think about how they shift and win in this environment.
I love this. Bring back the .com. Do you remember in 2020 where we got snacks.com and it was like a Frito-Lay? So I think let's talk about CPG, especially because D2C has been very challenging within that category, and a lot of brands and conglomerates just really don't stand up a .com site because it's just not worth it for them, and completely understand why, and they're interested in shifting out traffic to different retailers, and that's fine. There's great tools out there like Micmac that make that strategy really robust, and you do not need to have a D2C channel if it doesn't make economical sense for your brand. But you do need product content, and you do need to explain features and benefits, FAQs. I think one of what I shared on your LinkedIn post about the Downy Unstoppables is another implication, which is product reviews and addressing issues in product reviews. Unfortunately, we don't have that capability as brands anymore on Amazon. We can't respond to negative product reviews. So what can you do? And I think it is about addressing critical feedback in product reviews on your brand website. So you can say, we reformulated from this scent that everyone hated in June of 2024. So you're addressing that issue that people had with the formulation or whatever it was. You're addressing critical feedback about how to assemble it. It was complicated, this or that. So this is going to be so critical to addressing the concerns that people have that come through product reviews. And I think that .com real estate is key to get right for brands today.
Yeah, and what's interesting is there's a shortcut now to get those insights. So if you're on your product detail page, right, you can just under sort of the images, like there's basically Rufus questions, that are probably some of the top questions consumers are asking about your brands. And if you're not addressing those questions, to your point, on your content, on your brand website, that's a huge outage. Or sometimes I'll be playing around in Rufus and I'll ask a question about a brand and it'll say something like, the brand doesn't indicate something, but based on the ratings and reviews, right, it'll say something. So like that marks a huge red flag of, hey, brand, like you should be addressing this consumer question. Do you want to talk about AI agents in shopping? That's like kind of just like the last part.
Could you do a real quick teaser and we might be able to come back to it later?
Yeah. So the last component of how the path to purchase is changing is related to AI agents. So you can expect in the future that the new shopper will be an AI agent instead of, a person. It will be an agent. A brand needs to think about how does that agent pick your brand. The retailer needs to think about how does that agent pick your retailer website, because the human will be completely out of that loop, and we need to be solving for the agent as the new shopper.
A massive topic. We will have to get to that on a separate episode, Lauren. We could probably do 10 on that topic alone. But thank you for joining us for this series. I really think that it doesn't have to be scary. It doesn't have to be intimidating. Back to one of your earlier comments in an earlier episode, set a challenge to learn a little bit about AI each week, set some personal goals with it, set some professional goals with it. Ask AI what you should be doing, and we'll all get a little bit smarter together. Thank you, Lauren. Well, that is it for today. I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Retail Media Breakfast Club. We meet here every day at 6 a.m. Eastern. So be sure to subscribe and get your daily dose of insights, trends, and hot takes in the world of retail media and marketplaces.